probably sold more of these tapes than anything else. That's a remarkable self-interview by the rather out-of-it Mark Smith of The Fall. Well, let's kick off now.
I shout for The Fall, and I'm about to interview myself. Hang on, I'll just get my lines. Yeah, I could go on about what a load of shit the music biz is and all that.
We were stepping, come out, as in from heaven. The difference between you and us is that we have brains, cause we're not the white crap, but we talk about...
So how do you feel about going to a show and seeing a guy up on stage start off the set by saying that you're a dumb idiot? You like that? That gets you in the mood to rock?
I'm glad I paid money to show up tonight.
I mean, doesn't that work, though? Isn't that a good strategy? As a performer?
As a performer, as a gentleman, it makes sense all across the board. I love being insulted, so yes.
Welcome to We Are The Fall, and I'm Gavin.
I'm Steve.
And today we're talking about the more than half live album, Totale's Turns, It's Now or Never, which is categorized as a live album, but as we're going to find out, there are parts that are not recorded in any sort of live setting. They're actually recorded in Mark's house and some studio spaces. But this is an interesting kind of, I guess, considered not a compilation album, but some sort of hybrid album that's mostly live. And these are tracks that were recorded by The Fall in 1980 in a variety of locations around northern England. And instead of The Fall choosing to make it easy on themselves and record these in their hometown or local towns where they've had established a fan base that appreciated the Fall sound already and actually were seeking it out, they decided, we're going to go to a bunch of leisure centers and working men's clubs, and we're going to try out the Fall sound on this type of audience. And as you can hear, even in the introduction, the combativeness is there. And I think actually Mark secretly or just very upfrontly likes that, and he was really thriving on it and cutting the audience to pieces or trying to rile them up to get them engaged. And I do think that is actually a good strategy, especially for The Fall. Yeah, but you got to think about this crowd too. If it's a working men's club, that's a bunch of working class individuals, they're not really going to be, I'm just generalizing here, but I'm assuming they're not going to be that open-minded to art rock or not straightforward, straight ahead rock and roll. So to make the choice that they're going to not only go there and perform for that audience, but go there and perform and then also make some recordings that are already being considered for a live album that's going to be distributed is a very interesting choice. Yeah. I mean, the band's going to get it. And also, we're going to see there is going to be a track on here towards the end where not only does the crowd get it from Mark, and also the band is getting it from the crowd too, if they're even engaged at some of them. Sometimes the crowd is just completely indifferent to what's going on stage. But even there's a point where Mark even gets after one of the band members, and you don't really know who it is, but he gets after him for showboating on stage and tells him to stop messing around in the middle of the song, which I also like. Like, this is like a nice encapsulation of what the fall can be in a live setting, and it's much different than the fall in a quote unquote live setting in the Peel sessions when they're in a studio but they're playing live. This is totally different when they have the dynamic of the crowd, which is probably the truest form of the fall. As they showed, they were going on for 30 plus more years, or 30 more albums, and then decades and decades of live shows. So yeah, what they always been. Yeah, and also it shows that Mark was always going to engage with the crowd if he wasn't getting what he wanted, or if he thought that he could prompt what he wanted with a little prodding, right?
Yeah, right.
It was always there. He always had the skill. Even some people said that some of his former band members would say if someone was like, throwing shit on stage, spitting on them, which they would get spit on sometimes, Mark would just cut them to pieces, like verbally, just tear them apart from the stage and just take them down. And they said that was always in his back pocket whenever he needed it. He never had to get physical, although I think he was known to, not be opposed to physical confrontation if it was needed.
Makes me happy. I appreciate it. They're different.
And I don't get upset when those couple of tracks that are not live pop up, because they're tracks that a couple of them we never really hear again. Besides this album. So it's cool that they're on here, because a lot of these other songs, because it's live set, they're from other albums, but there's a couple on here that you're only going to hear on this album, or you'll hear once more in maybe a Peel session, but then you'll never hear it again. So I'm glad that they decided to put it on there and they weren't just sticking to making a pure live album. And with that, should we get into the first track, which is technically the second track after the introduction, a track called Fiery Jack?
Listen to Fiery Jack.
I don't know if you notice on this one, but the beginning, the introduction, the guitar is going so fast. They're so hyped up. I don't know who that is. And then the Mike Lee does a good job.
Without them going back to the slump.
Because he's so hyped up to play this first song. And probably after Mark yelling at the crowd, there's a little bit of extra adrenaline going through their bloodstream. And so that's kind of fun to hear them have to manage that. You got to get it moving. It's a good lead-off song.
For real, right? Like a little bit more into it.
Yeah. The guitar strums that are kind of like discordant strums that are going on are really fun, really cool, like atmospheric and filling up the stage. And this album gets a lot of flack. I was reading some reviews of this album, and it got a lot of flack for the recording quality. But I gotta say, I got no problems with the recording quality. I actually think I've already heard some other live recordings of The Fall that sound like 1/10 as good fidelity as this one. And this one, I can hear everything. And actually, as far as Fiery Jack's concerned, compared to the single version, I think this one you hear all the instruments.
Yeah, I agree. You're hearing everybody play.
The one on the single, it's the drums are so up front and everything's back. Even Mark's vocals are in the back compared to the drums. And this one is very balanced. It sounds like it's a stage recording. It's really good. It's really. I actually wonder who did this recording. Does it say?
Live at the Briarcoats Leisure Center.
The Leisure Center. Man, how fun would it be if your leisure center, local leisure center was putting on fall concerts or bands like The Fall? I can go down there and just relax and just yeah. I think of play some racquetball, or is that too physical? So you gotta be leisure. You gotta be sitting by the pool. Yeah, go for a swim. Lay in the hammock. Lay in the hammock out in the garden of the leisure center. It's probably raining. It's northern England. It's probably raining. You probably just go out there, chill, wait for the set to start. See Mark and the crew loading their stuff in, arguing,
fighting with each other. Mark's getting out the razors, make sure everyone's clean shaven.
They get it a little shaven. Yeah, it is a leisure center, so they probably got a nice green room. Actually, no green room.
No,
it's probably just the bathroom.
The bathroom, yeah. They got the full shower.
Yeah.
They got showers available to maybe a little mouthwash sitting on the counter.
A little mouthwash rider that's on the rider.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple bottles of mouthwash.
Some of those, maybe a couple combs in the little jar with the blue juice, nice and cleanly.
Probably can't. They're probably not allowed to. What do you think? In the UK, do you think leisure center is allowed to have alcohol sales?
I think
I feel like it's a little more lax than community center.
Yeah.
In the United States.
I think everywhere. I think they probably have a.
Yeah, definitely. I like the idea of an open cooler for this type of show too. They're probably not even on a stage. Like there's probably like the performance area, but it's probably not like a real stage.
Yeah, I've tried.
It's got to be.
I've tried to find it. All it looks like is a nice cycling gym right now.
Oh.
I looked at it in 1980. I can't really find anything exciting, but
well, it still exists. All right.
I think so. The Harworth Bricoats Leisure Center. It opens tomorrow at 6:30 a.m.
We might have to take a little trip over there. Get some stationary bike cycling in.
See if they've ever heard of The Fall. If they remember them playing there.
And this first track, I think the crowd is reacting kindly. So in Briarcoats, this first side, the audience is with them after they got put in line by Mark. They're listened up. Doncaster crowd is
that, or they're probably all the crabby ones are probably going to find the GM of the place and say who allowed these people to come in here and insult me like that.
Yeah, I came here to play cards. I came here to play 4-card Monty, where with my wife, and I got this guy telling me I got half a brain. Should we give him a second song?
I think so. Keep going.
I think that's what Mark is saying. after he gives them the first one.
We've already promised the label an album. We got to keep going.
All right, let's give him another one, and let's go with the old classic that everyone in the leisure center should know the words to, because this is a single, Roush Rumble.
This is a groovy number. Oh! A Roush! A rumble! A Roush! A rumble is valiant!
Well, it sounds like they've been practicing it.
Valiant!
This is
Roush! A rumble! I said
like
a rumble!
Mark says, he prepares the crowd. He says, "You gotta be ready for it. You want a groovy number? Here it comes, Roush Rumble, coming your way." And this one always gets me with that surf rock drum lead in, and then he puts it at the end too, or they put it at the end too as the outro, the surf rock drums, and yeah, it's got good energy. This is really just, they're really in the groove, and this one I could almost see would be maybe a better opening track to get people moving around.
Yeah, to get them pumped. You could hear a little bit about some of those backing vocals were not up to snuff, but
yeah, but that didn't
good.
the backing vocals make it sound live?
yeah, I was gonna say
extra live.
He's leaning right into
Yeah.
that microphone. He's pumped. He's gonna yell it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, he overloads the mic with his enthusiasm.
I also like a little mix up in there where one of the lines he changes, he says that his promoter is a jerk. So maybe he wasn't feeling the old leisure center as much as we thought he was.
Yeah, and that's a good catch too. That's a good catch, because that's something Mark is not afraid to change up the words for the live experience and the personal feelings and interactions that are going on. And yeah, I love that. That's why even the live albums have a little a different dimension to them. If you're willing to sit with them and really think about, this was a different place.
Yeah,
even the front to the back side is different, right?
Yeah, he's not one for playing what the crowd wants. Like, he's not gonna just play the hits because that's what they want, right? If he's doing it, he's gonna do it his way. How he's feeling in that moment.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. He's writing out the set list, but he's in charge. He's gonna give them what he wants, not what they want.
What they deserve, he'll give you.
In the crowd, they seem to dig that one. It seemed like there were a couple people clapping. So now that he's warmed them up, he's softened them up. He's given them the bouncy, fiery jack. They've bounced along. Maybe gotten a little loose. They've loosened up those limbs, right? Got a little stretch in. The Roush Rumble, they were twisting and shouting. They were getting that groovy number that Mark wanted to give them early. He's loosening them up for this moment where he's going to lay on that thick Native American tribal
Zimbabwean politics.
Zimbabwean, yeah. And he's softening them up for this point. So I think we should I think he gives it to us, so I think we got to take it right here.
Musawari's daughter.
Get that spot, put it in the pot for me.
Oh, there's a couple people heckling.
I was already gone.
There's a couple people, there's like 10 people cheering. And there's like one guy yelling. knows the daughter. Maybe he's good friends with the daughter. Not really sure. That guitar is so out of tune and it's perfect. I really enjoy that. I don't know how it got so out of tune just from the last. I wonder if he just intentionally made it more out of tune just before that song started, so that he would just riff and then strum. Because when he's strumming the chords, it's just so, it's jangly, but it's so out. It's so off, and it's perfect for that one. It's that pot being boiled. It's the boiling, simmering oils. That's in there.
The fat coming right out of Muzarawi's daughter, just
oozing,
starting to render.
Yeah, starting to render, exactly. Braised. So we get the Mark screams, live screams, which is even better, because if he's doing on the album, he contains himself, right? I mean, most of the time when he's doing the yelps, the screams, he contains himself. You know, he doesn't do it every time, but if it's a live setting, he's letting it go. He slowly builds up to it, and then he starts getting that little girl pitch that is so piercing that it really is. It almost can pierce your ears. Like, it can almost physically pierce your ears, and it's fitting for that song, especially with the name. How would you react to that song if you heard that live coming at you in the community center?
I would cheer, you know.
You're not going to be having a good trip if you hear that.
No, you know, I'd be wondering what happened, who invited these folks down to my local center, and why they were recording me.
You're going back to talk to the GM again.
I'm going back. Well, I'm making a trip to the cooler one more time, and I'm gonna find out.
Go to the sauna.
Who are these guys? Yeah, get a little sweaty. I mean, I'm already pretty sweaty from moshing to Roush Rumble, but
yeah, I hope that it's full. Like, I picture it being full. The community center. I mean, the leisure center.
Yeah, I like a good solid mix of, like, you know, like 20 people that know the fall that are there, and then maybe like 15 people that are really confused.
Yeah, I do wonder if this is a rural place. Let me see here. Doncaster is a city in South Yorkshire, England. It is population
100,000.
in 2020, 100,000. So if there is a concert, people are going to it. It doesn't matter who it is, right? Especially if you're below the age of 30, you're going to this show. If you're above the age of 30, you're probably going to this show as well, because you're just going to walk over there. You know, you're going to the pub, you're going to be walking over there, checking this out, saying maybe this is going to be the night I find my new favorite band. And then you hear the first 3 tracks, and you're going to say, maybe this is the night I'm going to be going to bed early to get some much needed rest for my work week next week.
Yeah, you're going to be a little upset you weren't able to get your workout in if you were going there for a swim, but I
mean, I would be working the hell out of that last song. I would be pumping weights in the gym to that all night long. The backing vocals, now he's calmed down a little bit. I don't know if that's Mark. It is Mark Riley on the backing vocals, and when he's doing insane lines that are different from what Mark's saying, it's a nice juxtaposition, right? It's like a nice layering of the two. And Mark is clear. He's got the clear vocals. Mark Riley is all over that microphone, and he's blowing it out, but it's a nice, really another layer of sound, which it works. It works especially for that one.
Yeah.
Where it's like a chant. It's like chanting.
Exactly.
Right? Like around the fire pit.
It's good to hear them just kind of, you know, doing something that's not as controlled, right? Like, you know, they obviously know what they're going into trying to do, but
he's totally in the moment, like he's feeling it. You can definitely feel that. Since we've gotten through that nice jam, that wasn't a long jam, but it feels like
it does.
Trance.
Yeah.
Like you're into a trance, you're going someplace. You're definitely traveling somewhere. And so now that you have gone there, you need to come back and you need to get in your area. I think this is a nice palate cleanser and you get really rocking again. So let's get in my area.
Losing life, there's no sport like this acid tension stomach.
Dang, what do you hate about this trash music?
I love the pace of that song. I don't really remember if it's the same pace or not, but it felt really good. And that guitar was just singing the whole time, man. That sounded great.
There's really no reason why The Fall should have ever been a band that did not have two guitar players. And that's the song that really, is Exhibit A, you know? Because if you only have one guitar player for that song, that's not going to sound... Oh, I know it's going to sound half as interesting.
Yeah.
Half as good. Because you don't have both of those guys doing that, or whoever it is playing.
Yeah, who's ever doing what, but...
Yeah. It doesn't matter who's doing what on this. And luckily it's Mark, Riley, and Craig Scanlon doing some awesome kind of weaving. Like, it really does feel like almost a textured weaving of a strumming with a little riff strum. And I would have loved to see this one live because I guess that they would have a PA system, but none of the stuff would be mic'd. Maybe just like the drums and of course Mark's vocals, but none of the amps would be mic'd. So I would have loved to be in the gymnasium or whatever.
Yeah,
the environment is.
I just can't picture where they're playing.
I picture it as somewhere. I picture it as like a community center, and just to have those amps like split apart on one side of the stage and the other, and have those different guitars going off, I would have loved that. I mean, that's exactly what I'm paying for. And you're right, at the end, especially like at 3 minutes, when the guitars are playing the same solo.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing that or even recognizing that if that was on the original studio recording. They're playing together in this version, the same solo, and it's almost like a analog delay because they're playing the same thing,
sure.
But they don't have delay pedals. They're just doing it automatic, and it's so cool.
Yeah,
it's such a unique little sound.
It sounded great. Yeah, it was yeah, exactly, something unique, something special. You're like, okay, I guess I'll stay.
Yeah,
I guess I'll stay. And there's only one more.
And there's only one more for that made the cut. And the only other thing else I have to say about in my area is they still couldn't be bothered to tune the guitars, which I'm a full proponent of that. Don't stop the show to tune your guitar. It's literally the worst thing you can do. Especially because people are not good at talking. At least you got Mark. Mark could have talked through like guys tuning the guitars, but if you don't have to do it, you just keep rolling and the crowd is going to definitely appreciate it. I appreciate that more than a tuned guitar is if you're rolling through a set list and it has a flow to it that's not interrupted by a guy looking at the ground. or back then, I don't know. You have to do it manual, you know? You have to do it manual.
Yeah, everyone quiet down. I can't hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, shh.
Yeah, you're going to hear ding.
Ah, perfect.
Ding, ring, ding, ding. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to see that. Play it out of tune. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I love it. So, yeah, to finish up this side, do you want to put a smile on your face? I mean, I'm already smiling after that.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for some candy.
I love that they play this one live. This is what I would have said if I would have heard. I mean, we did hear this, but if I would have said, "Oh, make a set list for me for the next show," this isn't for me. It puts a smile on my face, but I'm not throwing this on the set list. But I'm glad they did.
Yeah, this
we
could
get a
be
little treat.
This could be a one you play 45 seconds of it, you know,
for your family. For your family.
For your family, yeah. While you're
yeah.
While your guys get tuning the guitar, you and the other guitarist, you roll, all right? Like,
yeah, you're right. This is a perfect interlude. 40 seconds. The guy, Mark Riley or Craig says, "Hey, I broke a string."
Yeah, there you go.
You just throw the chalk stock at him.
Up to now. You are chalk, you are pop, you are pop
Mix
star.
my pop star.
Pop star,
I mix my pop star.
pop star, I mix my pop star. We like a pop six stickers. We like a wing TV. We like the chocolate animals. We eat pork or pig ears. Pop star, I mix my pop star.
Maybe the audio was bad in the original recorded. I'm just thinking. I think this was re-released. It says it's copyrighted by Sanctuary Records in 2004. So maybe they did a little. I would hope a little remastering of it. But I think anyone that has the problem with the audio quality now is probably just thinking they're getting confused and just thinking that the instruments are so out of tune that it sounds like the audio quality is bad, but the audio quality is actually good. The recording is good, but the instruments are so out of tune that that might be the problem for most people that are not well versed in trash music.
Yeah, whose ear isn't accustomed to understanding what it's supposed to sound like. I like to imagine somebody's like maybe 10, 11-year-old brother, like who's up front eating maybe a little porky pig pasty or a chocolate bar or something,
Sure.
Mom said, "You're not going out to that show unless you bring your little brother along. It's at the leisure center. This is one he can go to," and his mind is just getting blown right now.
I can totally see. Yeah, it's the food is just like kind of dribbling out of his mouth because his mouth is agape, and he's watching this guy spit on him. Mark isn't standing on the PA speaker, spitting chalk stock over and over. The whole full band. It sounds like the full band has like the gang vocals, right?
Yeah.
Like they even start off at the beginning. I'm just replaying the beat. I mean, even the way it starts, the band is already so gung ho to start singing that they almost start singing it while Mark is like talking to the crowd, which is really delightful. It's kind of cute that the band is like getting so into it. But on the other hand, this is the punk rock. This is I hate punk. I mean, I hate to say punk rock ethos, but this is the punk rock that I would like to pass on to the AI robots of the future to say this is the real. I mean, this is the punk rock as it's so unself-conscious. So much of the punk rock, even the Sex Pistols was so self-conscious of the look, everything about it.
Yeah,
which
it
doesn't mean it was bad.
Piece, right?
I mean, it wasn't bad, but this song it's fun. It's also so, it does not give a fuck. Like, this is literally the punk ethos where it does not give a fuck that it's like a little, a commercial like theme song for fucked up trash music, and it does a great job of doing it.
We're at that time.
So as we're flipping the record over to jump into one of our favorites.
Yeah, I mean, are you excited? Version 2, it could be better. They trimmed it down a little bit.
Yeah, let's wait to get into. Let's talk about this. Let's quickly talk about this very intriguing album cover.
Yes, it looks like they gave it to.
It's their white album.
It's their white album.
It's their white album.
They gave it to Mark to bring over to Suzanne, and he forgot to do it. So there's no drawing.
Yeah. It does say the locations. You know, it got Doncaster, ! Bradford, Preston, Prestwich. It's got the dates.
79 to 80.
Yeah, so some of them were recorded in fall of 79.
Yeah, this looks like October 27, 1979 at the Leisure Center it was recorded.
Oh, okay. So these were... Okay, so that's a nice, 6-month span. They got the best of the best here. And it sounds like it.
Yeah, and then these next 2 tracks, they bring us into the 80s at the Palm Cove in Bradford.
Okay, the Palm Cove in Bradford. There's not much to say about this album cover, but what about the title? What do you take from the title? He loves his character. You know, he loves this guy.
Is it his turn? Is he turning over in his grave? What's going on here?
Yeah. I like the turning over in the grave because he's always referencing the son, the bastard son, in some way of this guy, of this character. So I like the turns over in the grave, and it's now or never, I
get more. Maybe it's just his turn. It's his turn. It's his shot. It's now or never. Totale. It's time to do it.
Time to be live. Time to come back to life. It's a live album. Mostly.
Show 'em what you got.
I mean, it's really a piece of shit album cover, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I mean, you're not really paying for that. You're paying for what's
what's it?
In the grooves.
It's the inside that counts.
There's not. I don't know if there's not even a back. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a back. If there's a back, I don't really want to see it that much because I'm getting auditory stimulation that I need. I don't need the visuals that are not there. Editor's note here. We were able to find the rear album art, and it proved to be enlightening. The rear. How would you describe this rear album artwork? What Mark's given us here?
It is a recommendation from our friend Totale the 17th.
Yeah, you get this manifesto by Totale the 17th. The 18th on here.
The 18th, yeah.
Yeah. And he's a member of the Wakefield Young Drinkers Club.
Honorary member.
Honorary member.
He's not young enough to join, so he's
he's not young enough. He's not young enough yet. And you get this manifesto that's titled "Call Yourselves Bloody Professionals?" ? And I gotta say, this manifesto sounds a lot like one Mr. Mark E. Smith.
I mean, they always tell you to start with a good opener, and I mean this line. I want to read more when I read was one of the shower cum dressing rooms comments the fall received after completing their turn, which makes up side 1 of this record.
So the green room, as we suspected, is the shower. That was what they were provided, and they it's. Can you we'll post the rear album artwork here so everyone can take this thing because it's very worthwhile. But so the Working Men's Club, he kind of says that because they're connected to this Working Men's Club performance venue, that he kind of puts in frames as they had to do it out of necessity to perform there, right? As live entertainment or providing live entertainment.
Yeah, they feel obligated, I guess, maybe to expose them to what else is out there.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what the vibe I'm getting from this.
Like they deserve it. Even if they don't, they deserve it.
Yeah, even if they don't, they deserve it, or they at least deserve the experience of it. And he says side one was recorded in front of an 80% disco weekend mating audience. But he said they never really liked preaching to the converted anyways. So he took that as what it is. And then the other side he lays out or the upcoming side is going to be taking place in other places, including at his home, which the track was interrupted by a drunk that came into his home and tried to attack them in some form, or that was the account of the attention. But I don't really get that, but we'll get into that. I don't really get the feel that there's any sort of
disturbance,
kind of anxiety, disturbance from an outside source. But I
well,
appreciate it. I appreciate the story of that.
and then Totale goes in. He might not be as big a fan as Mark is of him, because he says, I don't particularly like the person singing on this LP.
Yes, that's right. That's right. He critiques him.
He does marvel at his guts, though.
Yeah, he marvels at his guts. He doesn't particularly care for the vocals or the vocal quality on this record, which is, a fair assessment. It's not for everyone.
Don't try to convince your moms and dads about it, though, either.
Yeah. I take back everything I said about the front cover, because honestly, I think I need this album just for this back this back piece of writing. I like that it's typed out. I like that call yourselves bloody professionals. That could have been the title of Mark's autobiography. I think the lack of thought in the front the directness of the front is offset by the thoughtfulness of the back. So with that, fittingly, let's get the auditory stimulation going with
Spectre versus Rector, number 2.
Those flowers, take them away. They're only funeral decoration. This is the fall, and this is a drudge nation. Your decadent sins will reap discipline. You Puritan, you shut me. I wash every day, but still it's unclean! Unclean!
He's almost at the beginning telling this band the tempo to go. Da-da-da. He's like, da-da-da, da-da-da, like a gallop. He's like, come on, let's go, guys. Let's go. It's taking too long.
It's beautiful.
I'm going to take this one over the first one, because this one gets into it a lot quicker, and it's meant for a live setting. It's not meant for a record. It's meant for me to hear it live. It's meant for me to be there and experience that as the long drawn out.
I was gonna say, even just to feel the da 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 da
right.
Yeah, you don't get that.
It's a visceral experience, right? That you need to experience in the room, right? You need to have the visual of the band. I think you need to have some sort of interaction with a visual part for the song, that he has to be at least walking around the stage, taking it in, staring down the crowd. They're turning amps up and down. He has to be doing something that's visually appealing, or at least interesting. Let's jump into... We went to the Spectre versus Rector kaleidoscopic soundscape. And now I think we need to celebrate by attending a famous person's wedding.
Who doesn't love Cary? Cary Grant. I mean, I would definitely go to the wedding.
I would definitely attend the wedding if I was Marky Smith or any member of the Fall.
I said, shut up! Everybody, go Cary Grant's wedding. Everybody, go Cary Grant's wedding. Champagne, hip hip hooray! Thank you folks for coming today.
What's going on at Cary Grant's wedding that you can get into?
I mean, all I know is it's Cary Grant's wedding, and we should be there. You like it?
That's all you know? That's all you know?
That seemed to be the gist of it. Did you get more out of it than I did?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fucking hilarious. I think this is one of the funniest songs. and I really wish it was like a studio track too. You know, I think maybe it's on a Peel session we'll get into, but I really wish it was. This one, okay, so musically, this one reminds me a lot of Musawari's Daughter because it is slow and, you know, it's slow and it's got the tribal drums and it's driving along. But then what makes it better in my eyes is it kicks up a notch with those little, I guess we'll call them choruses, where it kicks up the speed and starts popping along like you're at like some sort of celebration extravaganza. And this is, you know, it's just Mark placing it himself and you in being invited to this event where it doesn't really matter if you're there or not, but you get to experience all of the surrounding personalities. Buster Keaton is walking in, and you're like, oh, Buster Keaton over there. But no one really cares that you're there, and you're just looking around, and it's almost there's some sort of drug inducement too, where you're partying there at the wedding, and even he says something. He didn't take hallucinogens.
Yeah.
Right? Buster Keaton's there, but he didn't take hallucinogens, and he wasn't an old woman. But you saw him as an old woman because you took the hallucinogens. I was going to say. And you seeing him as the old woman. I just want to picture, as usual, I want to picture Mark in this situation, even though I know he's putting a character in that situation that's invited.
Cary Grant did get married in 1981.
He got married a lot, I guess. Kind of like Mark, you know? Kind of like Mark. But just Mark thinking about... I don't know. He puts it in the phrasing where it feels like everyone is invited to Cary Grant's wedding. And also, he's telling you to go to Cary Grant's wedding like you were considering not going. He's like, all you are going to Cary Grant's wedding.
All you folks and fools, go to Cary Grant's wedding.
Yeah. And also, how great is it to start a song with, I said, shut up? To start a song with, I said, shut up is only, you know, you can only do it if you're like Iggy Pop, Marky Smith, you know, a couple of people. It's only a select handful. Where it fits. It's not just being done in a mean way. It's being done in an artistic way.
Because you gotta find out about this awesome wedding that's about to come up.
Yeah. You've got to. Just to wrap it up, one of the best wrap-up lines, where everybody's good, but not great.
Yeah.
That's a great way to wrap it up. I mean, it's Hollywood. Everyone's good, but they're not great. Or they're going to say they're good, but we know they're not doing great. They're not doing great. Yeah, I think that's all it is. I mean, you can go deep into some fall dissection of this one, but I think it's pretty straightforward. I think it's a pretty easy one to wrap your head around. One of the easier ones. We're feeling good. We're feeling exuberant. Can we just have a... Can we go to Mark's house and get a recording down that's not live and throw it on here in this weird place just so that we can have... I'm going to call it another nugget, and this one actually would be on a Nuggets Garage Rock compilation. That man.
I think this one was also was an studio outtake from Fiery Jack.
Yes.
That man loves you. That man cares for you. That man loves the heathen. That man loves you. He came down from Accrington. He came down from Hovis Land.
I like that Mark is not a man to throw stuff away. You know, he'll find a use for it. Even if it's on a full live a full-length live LP. You know what? That song was actually pretty good that we recorded at the studio. Let's just throw it on there.
Mix it in.
Should we put it at the end? Mark, should we put it at the end so it makes sense? You know, all the live tracks, and then you get the little studio. No. I'm thinking track 9.
In the middle.
I'm thinking
Smash
track
it
9.
in the middle.
Yeah.
It's got a nice...
Not even at the beginning, Mark, at the beginning? How about the beginning so that they can have something clean and then go into the... No, I'm thinking track 9.
I've already got an intro planned for the beginning.
It's actually connected to Cary Grant's wedding in some ways. That man loves you. That man cares for you. So you're saying they recorded it for the Fiery Jack's single session. They recorded it in the same session. They could have easily put it on the Fiery Jack single, but they couldn't. They chose, 3 other tracks.
Yeah, of course.
And so we get That Man, which is a love song, but in the style of Mark, as usual. He puts us in a position that is not the person that's in love, considering that man, and not that man, right? Not the man, not the person that's considering that man, but the person that's telling the person, that man is good for you. That man loves you. That's an interesting third person as far as a character. Because usually it's like, I love you, I love you, be with me, or that girl's gonna be mine, or that man's gonna be mine. But you're never the person that's like, you should be with that person.
Yeah, just
you should go with
He loves
them.
you. It's okay.
And it's a weird perspective for Marky Smith to be the one that's kind of putting you in that realm.
Telling you what's good for you, right? He doesn't seem like that sort of guy.
And what's the reaction that could, let's picture it together. What is the reaction that could be causing this discussion? The person that has that man, they're either in one of two mindsets from my point of view, which is they're either unsure about the person. It seems straightforward for that. They're unsure, and then the person's reassuring, saying, that man's good for you, that man needs you. Or what are they saying?
That man's he's an uggo, I think. He's an ugly nerd, and I don't want to be married to him. Too bad. He loves you. He'll care for you the rest of your days.
He'll take care of you. He'll take care of you. Oh, man. He came down here all this way. He has to have a thing. But then it's not going to be that straightforward with Mark, because he's going to add some sort of fucked up little twist, which is the best part, which makes you want to re-listen to it a million times, which is, he says, he washed the dirt from my eyes. All the devils were exorcised. And sticky pants are ostracized. Sermons with triad with trad jazz guys. He's gonna throw this in here when you're talking about that man, but that's a good man still.
He's okay. Just do it. Just do it, honey.
Yeah.
Just do it.
That man loves a heathen, so what are you gonna do? I mean,
you're not getting any better than him, sweetie. It's time to settle down.
it's kind of out of your control.
Your best years are behind you.
He's not the best man, but he loves a heathen. He's a religious man. He's a holy man.
Is he a new Puritan?
Yes, exactly. Is he a new Puritan? Let's see.
Find out.
Hail, New Puritan, Maelstrom, Cook One. And all hardcore fiends will die by me, and all decadent sins will reap discipline. New Puritan.
Okay, how do you feel about this one?
It's a scary one. I mean, it'd be good on the Halloween list as well.
This one is the one that was actually maybe I am hearing it now that we looked at the back cover. This is the one that was recorded at Mark's house.
Yeah.
And so if Mark is recording this and then probably looking at the drunk guy that came into his house and tried to attack him or was just watching them, I think the story is like he comes in and just is watching them, like recording this, and then he's like singing it to him. That might be the edge that I need for it to fit in this track listing. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's not really fitting in for me. The audio quality is so different than the rest. The live tracks sound better than this. It's like sound recording this in his house. I do like the song, but it's also in an awkward place. After That Man, which is a kind of a doo-wop.
Yeah, it's
That
bumping.
Man. Yeah, and then you got New Puritan, which is a dirge a spooky dirge.
I was gonna say, how many guys are even in the band are there?
I know. I wonder who that is. Yeah, I do wonder who that is. Was that Mark Riley or is that Craig Scanlon? I don't know.
He's bumping along with it though. The guitar doesn't sound good, but it sounds like it could be good.
Yeah, I like that it's acoustic guitar. I mean, that's the first time we heard that. You know, we're
You
getting
probably
more
get
acoustic.
kicked out of the house if you turn on the amp too loud.
It does fit in with these other songs, the live songs, because it's out of tune. It's the perfectly out of tune with the rest of the tracks. And Mark is getting his yell on.
Quietly from the basement.
And you get a very beautiful fade out into our ultimate closing track, which is a very, very, very interesting choice. But I guess it's got to go here because it is the longest track we got.
John Keys is having another bad Christmas.
No Christmas for John Cleese! No Christmas for John Cleese!
So we drop back into the live set to finish it out. It's only fitting.
Loud and fast. I guess that makes sense to slow you down before they pull you back up.
Going from the New Puritans when there's no bass, it's just a demo DIY in your French room with a random drunk guy coming into your flat. This does hit a little extra hard with the bass just pumping along after you've had a little very thin sounding song. So, and it hits right away. It goes right into it, and it's not going to slow down, and it's not going to deter from the path to Christmas sadness. It's funny he's trying to lead the crowd in an off-tune sing-along Christmas carol at that 4-minute mark. Trying to get all the drunk men's club residents to sing along together.
Is this one back at the men's club again?
No, I'm just assuming. I'm just hoping. I'm picturing. No, I think this is the warehouse.
Possibly at the warehouse, yeah, possibly. How would you feel if someone came to your house to carol this to you?
Oh, I mean, I'd be singing along, but my neighbors would not be very happy. We would say, is he saying junkies? Is he saying someone's not getting Christmas and that someone is a junkie? Oh, it won't be appreciated. Especially in Texas. But if they were singing Container Drivers, oh man. They have the whole neighborhood singing Container Drivers. Easy. That's an easy sell. Get a couple sixpence in your hat for that one. And you're hoping for the fall to close with a big bang, right?
This is certainly...
And what do you get?
This is a noisy 7 minutes of fast-paced excitement.
You're hoping for that big fireworks show at the end. And in true fall fashion, what are they going to give you?
I was going to say, even...
Not that.
They even...
No chance.
They even let the instruments run a little wild there. A little solo sort of action here.
Yeah, banging the bongo toms at the end.
Smashing the keyboard down here.
They just fit that track in there because that just says it was from one other place. So they fit that one on at the end. It's got to go at the end. We are the track list, rectifiers, but that has to go there. So, with Mark coming into the room to stare us down as we consider a rating for Mr. What is his first name? Totals. Totals. The 18th. What's his first name?
Totales.
Oh, Eric, I got it right here too. I got it right here. That's R period.
R period Totales.
R period Totals. The 18th.
It's his turn.
What kind of pint quantity are you considering giving this very unique live album?
I was gonna say it is all over the place. I'll go solid. I'll go a beer for beer on the first actual live songs, the 1 through 6. And then I'll get a little bit mixed up on the back half. I'll probably switch over to whiskey so that I can understand what's happening there and get in the mood.
Yep. You get a little sweetness in there in the middle.
Feeling sweet and happy with Choco Stock there, and then they want to, turn me down with the thought of Spectre Rector coming into my life.
So I'm hearing you're probably gonna get about 6 pints, and then maybe five.
Yeah,
whiskeys.
6 and 5. We'll go there. We're at 11 drinks.
Okay. I think I'm going straight up 6 pints for this one. There is a lot of questions left unanswered and to be answered, but the live cuts in general, great. There's just a couple where if you have a bunch of tapes of live shows, I would have swapped out a couple.
Yeah,
that's where I'm thinking.
The backside seemed a little slapped together there to make it complete, but
yeah. And put that man out as a single. Put that man. I need that man. I mean, that man loves me. I need that man as a single.
I was gonna say they had some room on those singles. They jammed in the third song on the other one, on the Fiery Jack. You should have put it out.
Yeah, you should have put it out. I agree with that. Especially Rough Trade is going to be... You save so much money with the album covers. Rough Trade wants you to give them, a little extra single. They probably put out 4 singles for you if you gave them that one. That man? I like that. I enjoyed that. The first live album, or the real live album, getting us into the Fall's live career. And 1980s is on its way, almost complete. We got one more little full length, which is really good.
It's a good one. So yeah.
It's a good one.
Come back and see us, listen again, and we'll go through the next album for you. Don't forget to like us, see some extra content on Patreon, and see what we're looking at and talking about.
Yep. Send us a little chat. Send us a little message if you got some recommendations. And until next time, we are the Fall.
We are the best. See you later, mate.
Later, mate.
The inimitable Mark E. Smith of The Fall there, and a little piece of The Fall live. Started a clip because it was rather loose sort of quality.